Hi, I'm Paris, and I'm back with another Lazy Boy lunch. Now, there's the Lazy Boy line of recliners. Why isn't there a Lazy Boy food line? I think I would like that. When you're feeling lazy and hungry is when you're most at risk of going out and going through the drive-through somewhere or sneaking into the junk food you have somewhere in your house and eating that because you want something right now and you don't feel like cooking. So I like to have a collection of foods around that I can put together in less than 5 minutes that will fill me up and still taste tasty. Now, last week I tried out the Amy's lentil vegetable soup, which is a vegan soup. Very good, low calorie. I highly recommend that as a lunch, and I'll put a link to that video down below this video. But sometimes you just want to chew something and a soup isn't going to do it for you. And I saw in my store recently the Amy's lines of frozen foods, and they make vegan and vegetarian options. Now, I haven't had meatloaf in so long. My mother made meatloaf all the time, and I love meatloaf, so I'm sort of picky about it, and something that tastes tofu-y but it's got a little meatloaf seasoning at it, that isn't going to do it for me. Now, I've had this particular meal once before. This is Amy's Veggie Loaf, which is now vegan. It comes with mashed potatoes and vegetables, and I was so surprised. I was sort of desperate for meatloaf taste, but it was actually pretty good. This goes for about $4.50. They had it at my local neighborhood supermarket here in Austin. I'll zoom in here so you can see the nutrition label and the ingredients. 340 calories for this whole box. This is one serving. Now, it's higher in fat and definitely higher in sodium than I would like. I think there's a low sodium version of this particular meal, and I may take a look for that. However, it does have 10 grams of fiber and 10 grams of protein. And the ingredients are basically a whole bunch of organic vegetables. That I really like to see. This meal heats up in the microwave in about 5 minutes. You can also heat it up in the oven, but I don't know who would do that. 45 minutes, you got to preheat the oven and then bake this for 45 minutes. If you're a lazy eater, get a microwave. Here's what it looks like, frozen. Not quite as appetizing looking as the picture on the box, but isn't that almost always the case? The gravy covers up the meatloaf, which actually has a very nice texture because of the different vegetables they've combined in it. My last experience with this, again, I've only tried it once before, so I'll try it again here and see if it's consistently this way. The peas and corn are actually not mushy. Once it's been heated up, they still pop when you bite on them, which is nice in a vegetable. And the mashed potato, though it doesn't taste like crushed actual potato, it tastes like the reconstituted potato powder. Still, that's very tasty. Just cut a 1-inch slit in the over wrap, microwave it for 3 minutes, rotate it another 2 or 3 minutes, should be ready to go. I'll be right back. Well, I'm back, and that took just 5 minutes. Even the laziest boy or girl can wait 5 minutes for a nice hot meal instead of sneaking into the bag of chips. And I do have bag of chips out in the kitchen. I put some in the kids' lunches every day, and I have to not eat them. So it's nice to be able to have this ready pretty quickly. Now, while I was waiting for that to microwave, decided I would have an apple afterwards. And this tea is Snapple unsweetened, straight up tea. The reason I like this, they do make the full sweetened tea. They make half sweetened tea. With this, you can make it just as sweet as you want. I'll put 3 of these Pure Via combination sugar stevia packs into this, 2 or 3. So that's 10 or 15 calories, 340 calories, 80 to 100 calories. You're looking at about 450 calories. But it's time to see if meatloaf really tastes like meatloaf. If the veggie loaf tastes like meatloaf. Now, if you're big on presentation, you can pour it out of the tray onto the plate and make it look prettier, but I like eating it in the tray because the gravy tends to sort of clump up and stick along the edges, and I like scraping that out at the end. Let me show you this up close. All right, trying not to pour the food out onto the table. The meatloaf definitely looks a lot better now with the gravy this color than it did when it was frozen. And the peas and corn look reasonably plump. And then there's the mashed potato, which really does seem to be like instant potato. Let me get my drink ready here, in case this is hotter than I'm expecting. Putting this much sweetener into this is just enough so that you taste that it's sweet. It doesn't at all overwhelm with sweetness, but you can officially call it sweet tea. And yes, I know you can just heat up a cup of tea, herbal tea that's naturally sweet, But once you add another step, then it's actual cooking. It'll do 15 calories versus their full sugar version of this, which is wonderfully sweet, but 150 calories. Meatloaf. From the side, the different vegetable pieces are all easy to see. Got some gravy on it. A little softer than my mother's meatloaf, but the taste it's very good. I guess I don't eat much meat anymore, certainly not hamburger meat, so maybe I've forgotten a little what that tastes like, but I really like the taste of this. However, it's different from hamburger meatloaf. Now for the peas and corn. Try it without any gravy here, just to see the flavor. They're still steaming a little. Everything pops when you bite through it. It's good. Normally I would have carrot juice. I usually have that with lunch, just like I did in the video with the soup. But I'm out, so I keep some of these around for when I need something to drink that I can make a little bit sweet really easily, and I'm not tempted to get a glass of something that's in the refrigerator for someone else. Mashed potato time. Instant potato time. It's potato. Better if you dip some in the gravy. Better yet, if you also dip it in the vegetables, they easily adhere, and you got a bite of all those flavors. Well, now that I have a few bites, I really want to finish this, so I'm going to eat my lunch now. But I do really recommend this Veggie Loaf, especially if you like meatloaf. It's not going to taste exactly like meat, but it does taste good, and it's so easy to make. This lunch altogether, about 450 calories, about $4 or so for this. I'll put a link to it down below this video if you'd like to find out more.